With the popularity of the live-action film Deadpool and Wolverine, it is clear fans of the merc with a mouth love seeing him on the big screen. However, unfortunately, Deadpool has had a rocky history when it comes to animation on TV. Don't get me wrong, he's had his own fair share of episodes dedicated to him in Marvel cartoons in the past. However, there were times Deadpool had a bigger opportunity to shine in X-Men cartoons and even a scrap show of his own, only for both to go nowhere. For example, Deadpool was teased a few times in the 90s X-Men cartoon with non-speaking cameos, with Morph and even Professor X turning into the character in front of Wolverine in an effort to torment him. Sabretooth even has memories of Deadpool. That means that Wolverine and Sabretooth have interacted with Deadpool in the past. With X-Men 97 out, you'd think Disney would capitalize off of the newfound popularity of the character by having him appear, especially since Deadpool was depicted as a past enemy of Wolverine's who he clearly has a distaste for. It would have been a great payoff to see Deadpool properly appear in the 90s X-Men universe. It'd also be cool to see him team up with Cable. However, Disney told Season 1 showrunner Beau DeMayo that Deadpool was off limits. Besides that, he almost had a bigger role in another X-Men cartoon, that show being Wolverine and the X-Men. Deadpool ended up playing a major role in the show's sort of backdoor pilot, which was the short film Hulk vs. Wolverine. In it, he was voiced by Nolan North, who would go on to voice Deadpool in tons of video games. In this film, the Professor at Weapon X, along with Omega Red, Lady Deathstrike, Sabretooth, and Deadpool, capture Wolverine and the Hulk. This short film depicts Deadpool as someone Wolverine knew during his Weapon X days. He's depicted as an annoyance to people like Omega Red. This film was my introduction to Deadpool as a character. I found his design in Hulk vs. appealing and found him to be very funny. A highlight of Deadpool in the film for me was the scene where he reattaches his arm after Wolverine cuts it off. I found that to be an interesting way to depict a healing factor, as sometimes characters will regrow limbs in fiction. What's actually funny is this concept has been explored in the first two Deadpool films. Showing him putting his arm back together rather than regrow it was an interesting creative choice. Deadpool almost appeared in Wolverine in the X-Men Season 2, where Nolan likely would reprise his role. However, Wolverine and the X-Men got cancelled after one season. Concept art for Deadpool exists online, which would be the basis for what he would have looked like had he been in Wolverine in the X-Men Season 2. Finally, we have the biggest L Fox ever took with Deadpool, that being canceling Donald and Stephen Glover's take on the character in a cartoon titled Deadpool the Animated Series that would have aired on FX. While I am glad Fox allowed the Deadpool film to happen, it's a shame this animated series never saw the light of day. Some titmouse footage leaked, which is proof of concept of what their take on the show would look like. However, animation for the Deadpool animated series, had it become a thing, would have been made by Floyd County Productions. That studio was responsible for the animation in the show Archer. That studio being used makes sense, as the execs at Marvel were big fans of Archer and wanted a Deadpool series to be made in the same style. I honestly would have preferred Titmouse though, since that test animation looks super smooth. Marvel would have had a hit animated series in their hands had they fully trusted Donald and Steven. However, Fox and Marvel had cold feet. Part of that had to do with an episode mocking Taylor Swift. In retaliation to the cancellation news, Donald Glover ended up posting a now deleted finale script to Twitter, where Deadpool talks about the show being scrapped, which perfectly fits the character. It is honestly a shame Deadpool the Animated Series never became a thing. However, besides the test footage that leaked, Crash Reverse did a fan animatic based around Donald Glover's Twitter script using audio from a new media rock star's table read. So if you want to know what the Deadpool series would have looked like, there is some material there. Steven Glover noted that the Taylor Swift episode was the last straw that led to the series being scrapped. He then stated that Donald and his Deadpool show would have probably given Rick and Morty a run for their money. It's a shame this show never saw the light of day, as I think it would have been a hit. Overall, I am surprised Deadpool hasn't gotten an animated series yet. He appeared in Ultimate Spider-Man one time and the Avengers anime twice. Fun fact, in that he was voiced by Dio's voice actor from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in the Japanese dub. However, as of recent, he hasn't appeared in another animated project since. X-Men 97 would have been a great show to reintroduce the merc with a mouth, but I get why Disney was hesitant. Deadpool is seen as an R-rated brand to Disney, I guess, and they don't want that mixed in with that X-Men revival. It's odd though, since Deadpool is reading stories to kids and parents at Disneyland. Honestly, my guess as of right now is that Disney is saving Deadpool for another animated project. Maybe it'll be that mystery cartoon Disney is reportedly putting $20 million into. A Deadpool animated series just has so much potential, especially if it was set in the Deadpool movie universe, since they could get Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman to record lines as Deadpool and Wolverine rather than have them bulk up for another movie. I could be wrong entirely though, and the cartoon could be something else, but I really hope Deadpool gets his own show one day. At the very least though, I'm glad the Deadpool live action films were able to happen, since had the test switch for the first film not leaked, it could have been a very different story. This has been Shadex, and I hope you all feel nothing but good vibes.